The government shutdown is over. So when are you going to get your full SNAP benefits? Well, that depends on where you live. Your state is going to decide that. And currently, there are three separate things happening. Some states already paid full benefits. 19 states have done that. A majority of states paid partial benefits and then some paid none at all. So depending on where you live, I am going to give you the schedule on when you can expect your full SNAP benefits for November 2025. Plus, President Trump has announced a policy to send $2,000 in stimulus money to all Americans before the end of the year. Yes, he wants to do this before the end of 2025. There's been a lot of questions about whether this is real. Is the president really getting ready to send a fourth round of stimulus checks for $2,000? I have the latest update, and I'm going to tell you what needs to happen before this becomes a reality by the end of the year. My name is Wami Quad. I help seniors get the retirement benefits they deserve. I've been creating content on food stamps, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and other personal finance topics that affect seniors and their benefits. I have been doing this for 15 years, and during this time, I've been able to help a lot of seniors really get that peace of mind about retirement that we are all looking for. So, if you are new to my channel, welcome. I am glad you're here. Do me a quick favor, go into the comment section and let me know your city and your state. If you've been watching this channel for a while, welcome back. I am glad you're here. Thank you for your continuous support. So, I'm going to talk about two things today. The first one is an update on food stamps. For the last 3 weeks, if you've been following my channel, you know there's been a lot of uncertainty, a lot of stress, a lot of frustration with food stamp recipients not getting their benefits, and with court challenges by the Trump administration and directive for states not to pay full benefits, a lot of SNAP recipients, especially seniors, have not gotten their benefits. So now that the government shutdown is officially over, when can you expect your benefits? Well, let me read to you the latest update from the Associated Press that has been compiling a list of what states are doing and what they need to do to get you your benefits. But first, let me share this with you from Newsweek, talking about the three categories of payments that we can expect. Because, as I mentioned, some people have been paid and some haven't, and some have been paid partial benefits. So Newsweek is tracking. It says SNAP benefits to resume as government reopens when to expect payment, and they're doing a live update. But there's an important part of that update that I wanted to share with you. They broke it down into three categories. Says President Trump on Wednesday, which is yesterday, signed a Senate and House approved GOP funding bill. That extended, let me make sure you can see this, that extended the nation's longest government shutdown. Said ended the nation's long just shutdown, meaning the SNAP program is finally set to resume payments. Millions of Americans have received no federal food stamps assistance in November due to the 43-day shutdown, while others receive partial funds or full payments between the court battles. So here's what to expect. Recipients can expect restoration of payments in the next few days, but the timing and process vary by states that have not issued any benefits during the shutdown, such as South Carolina and Virginia, are expected to release payments within 24 hours to 3 days. So if your state has not paid you any SNAP benefits, then you can expect to get your benefits within the next 24 hours to the next 3 days. So that's the first category. And then states that issued only partial benefits may need additional time to correct and complete payments. So if your state issued partial benefits, it's going to take longer to get your full benefits. I'm going to show you the map shortly from the Associated Press showing who has paid and who hasn't paid, and what to expect. But if you only got partial benefit, that's going to be a problem. Remember, if you've been watching this channel, I mentioned during the shutdown that when the administration went to court and they said that issuing partial benefits is harder than issuing full benefits, that is what caused the court to instruct them to pay full benefits. Because paying the partial benefits is going to create more problems than it solves. Well, that's what has happened. So if your state paid you partial benefits, you will have to wait probably a little longer than you probably expected. And then the third category of states, at least 19 states and the District of Columbia, managed to provide full benefit to some SNAP recipient last week. So the key phrase there is some. So let's go to the Associated Press and look at their table of who is paid, who hasn't paid, and who is paid partial benefits. But before I do that, if you want to receive news updates, anything in and out of Congress that could affect your SNAP benefits, or other government benefits that could affect your retirement or your personal finances, then text the word SNAP to the number you see on your screen, 44329 30080. You'll be added to my text list. There are thousands of seniors that are getting 1 or 2 text messages from me each week, letting you know about critical updates that you need to be aware of that could affect your benefits, your retirement, and your finances. So text the word SNAP to the number you see on your screen, 44329300080. I'm going to put that detail in the comments and in the description to this video. And it's also free of charge. You know, this service from our end is free to you, and all you get is news updates that you should be aware of. Now, let me go to the Associated Press that compiled a whole map telling you what is about to happen and where. So let me pull that up, and then we'll get back to that. So the Associated Press says the timeline for SNAP benefits remain uncertain, even as the government is set to reopen. What does that mean? Well, we are going to find out together. If I can get back to... I need to delete a few tabs so that I can show you this AP article. There we go. So, it says the federal government is reopening, but there is still uncertainty about when one of the most far-reaching impacts of the closure will be resolved, and all 42 million Americans who receive SNAP food aid will have access to their full November benefits. President Trump signed the reopening measure on Wednesday. One provision call for restructuring the SNAP program, but it does not resolve when the benefits will be loaded onto the debit cards beneficiaries use to buy groceries. A spokesman for the USDA, which runs the program, said in an email Wednesday that the funds could be available upon the government reopening within 24 hours. For most states, the department didn't immediately answer questions about why, where it might take longer, or whether the 24-hour timeline applies to when money will be available to states, or when it will be loaded to the debit card. So, there's 2 different things going on. The USDA is saying that they will get the money to the states within 24 hours. The question is, how long does it take for that to get to the debit card, the EBT card? That is the central question that we don't know. And so this map that I'm about to share with you shows you where we are with each state. So here it is. It says roughly a quarter of states have not processed SNAP benefits to eligible beneficiaries. So let's look at the key. If you see a dark, what do we call it? Dark brown, burgundy, whatever color this is. The darker color is the states that have paid full benefits. All right. The slightly lighter color is partial benefits, and then the tan yellowish, well, we'll call it tan, that is no benefits. So I'm going to walk you through some of the states so that you can see where they are. So most of the states on the West Coast and the East Coast and the North have paid full benefits. So Washington State, paid full benefits to some recipients. Oregon has done the same. California did. And then you have Arizona and New Mexico. All of them paid full benefits. And Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, the Great Lake region, all the Great Lake states have paid full benefits. So everything on the West Coast, everything in the Great Lakes, and then most of the East Coast except Vermont have paid full benefits. So Maine, New Hampshire, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts have all paid full benefits. Now the states in the slightly lighter color. So we have Vermont, Ohio, Indiana, Missouri, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, Colorado, North Dakota, Montana, Idaho, and Nevada, and Alaska have all paid partial benefits. Hawaii has also paid full benefits, and then the rest have not paid anything at all. Florida, Alabama, South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Iowa, South Dakota, Nebraska, Wyoming, and Utah have not paid anything at all. So based on the key that I gave you earlier, here's how things are going to go. If your state has paid full benefits to most people, those who remain are going to get their full benefits as soon as the USDA transfers the money in. If your state has paid partial benefit, you'll probably have to wait a little longer because they have to recalculate everything and see how much is remaining and then send that to you. So expect it in a week or two because that's a much longer process. If your state has not paid anything at all, then you may get your benefits quicker because as soon as the USDA sends the money in, it's just a matter of how long it takes to load it up to your debit card, your EBT card. So that is the main process right now. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Again, if you want to stay on top of all of this, text the numbers, the word SNAP to 432 9300 80, and you'll be added to thousands of seniors and others who are getting timely updates about food stamps and other critical emergencies that you need to be aware of that can affect your benefits and your finances. So next, let's talk about stimulus. You may have heard that President Trump wants to send a $2,000 stimulus to Americans, including, similar to what you got during the pandemic, including seniors on Social Security and disability, including low-income families. And he wants to do it this year, 2025. So what are the chances that this is going to happen? Well, President Trump has reintroduced the idea of a stimulus-style payment to Americans funded by revenue generated by tariffs on foreign imports. So, a dividend of at least $2,000 a person will be paid to everyone that is directly from President Trump. So then I have been getting a lot of questions from people like, what are the chances that this is going to happen? Well, let me tell you this. If we just go by what has happened this year, if this is the president's top priority, then we're going to get it. Because, with the big, beautiful bill, anything President Trump says he wants to do and get out of this Congress, if it's his priority and the number one thing he wants to get out of Congress, they usually give it to him. So what I want to see is the question is not whether the president wants to do it. The question is, what is his priority? That is what I want to see. And there's been other publications that have come out that are asking the same question, how realistic it is to get something by the end of the year. And would Congress be able to pass something? Here's another article facting Trump's promise to give Americans $2,000 payment from tariff dividends, and is asking the same question that I'm asking. How do we know this is real and not just another dangling, thing that the president is throwing around and he's going to move on to the next thing? Well, this has taken 3 different steps to get here. The first step happened in July when the president promised a $600 stimulus check. It was so serious that a senator wrote a bill to make it happen. And here it is. It is in the 119th Congress to amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 to provide rebates to individuals using tariff revenue. And so there's a bill in the Senate to do that. That was $600. And that was July. A few months later, the president came out again and said, well, he's changed his mind. Instead of $600, he wants to give $1,000 or $2,000. So here's that one that came on October the 7th. Trump said he's considering giving Americans $2,000 tariff stimulus check. And so in that particular announcement, the president said he was thinking of giving $1,000 or $2,000 from the same tariff revenue. And then the shutdown happened, and we never heard anything about that. And then finally, a few days ago, as soon as the shutdown was almost over, the president came out again this time around, giving us a firm number and a much bigger number. So he wants to pay $2,000 dividend tariff, what Trump is again saying, about possible 2025 stimulus checks. Now, in the same article, they are showing you how much the government has received from tariffs. So I'm going to show you by month, and you can see tariff revenue has been growing. The president claims is in the billions. I don't see evidence of billions, but the tariff revenue has been growing. And so the question is this possible? Well, I'm going to tell you that from now till the end of the year, if you keep hearing the president talking about it, then it's going to happen. But if this is a one and done, then Congress is not going to feel any pressure to do anything. So that is my indication to you, because as I said, when the president wants something, especially out of this Republican Congress, he's going to get it. If he makes it a priority, as long as it's just something he says in a news interview and then moves on to the next thing, then do not expect any stimulus. That's my position. That's my interpretation. Let me know in the comments what you think. So finally, before I let you go, let's talk about Medicare. If you've been watching my channel, I have told you that I am on a mission to help 100,000 seniors get peace of mind about Medicare. And you're probably thinking, why would I want to do that? Well, here's the thing. 90% of seniors are in the wrong Medicare plan. And that is unfortunate because you have spent 35, 40, 50 years paying into something that you've earned, but you're not getting the best out of it because you're in the wrong plan. Excuse me. So I want to educate you around Medicare, create resources that will help you better understand what you have and what you could have, and connect you with the best resources possible. And the biggest reason why is that there's 24,000 Medicare plans out there and with all the changes that are happening. A lot of seniors believe original Medicare is better than Medicare Advantage. But here's the thing, even original Medicare is changing. There's a lot of changes happening with Medigap plans. And if you live in one of 6 states starting in January, you're going to need pre-authorization in order to access certain services, procedures, and devices. So all of a sudden, even the thing that a lot of seniors thought was the better or safer or the less bureaucratic option, less red tape option, which is original Medicare. Now that is also changing, so you owe it to yourself during this open enrollment to evaluate your current plan and to not just automatically renew it because there's so much that has changed and it could cost you money. And with all the headlines that I've just shared, it is so important to do this. So here's what I'm saying. Our partner, Chapter Medicare, offers free and unbiased opinion to help you do this. Over 3,500 of our viewers have called them to get that peace of mind about Medicare. What does that mean? It means that number one, you have evaluated changes to your current plan. Number two, you've compared it to other plans that are available to you. Which chapter can help you and make that available to you? They can show you what else is out there that you qualify for. And then number three, you have made sure that your plan, you've considered the total cost, not just the premium out-of-pocket cost. Co-way, co-insurance, all those things all add up. That your provider network is covered in your plan. Don't assume that your doctors are in your current plan because they were there in 2025. Don't assume that the hospital you like to go to or you have to go to, or the only hospital in your community is still in your plan. And don't assume that your prescription drugs are covered or are going to cost the same. So here's where Chapter steps in and helps you make sense of all that. So that when you pick a plan for 2026, you get that peace of mind, which means that your plan fits your needs, fits your budget, and has a provider network you're looking for. Now, I told you 3,500 of our viewers have already called Chapter. Call the number you see on your screen, 539-2052-147. Or if you want to fill out a form and have them call you, it only takes a minute. And I'll put that information in the comments and in the description. But here's the thing, I have been sharing reviews of viewers like you who have called Chapter and what they're coming back and telling us. And overwhelmingly, it's been great. Here are 2 of them that I pulled recently, and I want to share that with you. The first one is said, I am listening to your channel from Stockton, California. I want to thank you for recommending that we call Chapter. During the open enrollment period, I call them and they have helped me choose a better plan. So now I am set for the new year. Thanks again. You can see that I like that comment because this is the peace of mind I'm talking about, right? That, you're set for the new year. Here's another one. It says, thank you very much for sharing the Chapter information. I called over the weekend and was able to register. One thing is that if you're calling and you can't get through, call during the weekend because the lines are busy. It's open enrollment, so don't give up. Keep trying, but the weekends are better. But this person is saying, thank you very much for sharing the Chapter information. I called over the weekend and was able to register for a different Medicare Advantage plan. And get this, that had all my doctors and covered my medication. When I say peace of mind about Medicare, this is what I mean. So give Chapter a call today, the number you see on the screen, 539-205-2147, and let them help you evaluate your current plan and switch to a better plan. So guys, that's what I wanted to share with you today. If you like what you heard, give it a like. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this video with anybody you think would benefit from it, and hit the notification button so that when I create and publish new videos, you'll be notified right away of a new video uploaded. So, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow.